Welcome to the Stay Focused podcast,
where we explore the highs and lows and everything in between of your favorite business owners.
We're here because your story matters, so stay focused.
To help people get out of pain and help their body start healing in the way it was supposed to. Usually laying on your stomach so nobody can see your face. You know, I would just lay there weeping. I decided to close the doors and take a big leap and move thousands of miles away.
Welcome back to this episode of the Stay Focused podcast. We're really excited today to talk to Al Cobb from Blair Chiropractic.
We're excited to listen to him talk today about his preferred ways of doing chiropractic care and the do's and don'ts of being a business owner.
And remember, as a chiropractor, he's got your back.
Hey, welcome to the Your Story Matters Stay Focused TM podcast.
Damn. All right. So you are a business entrepreneur. We landed on that word.
Yeah.
What made you want to go into chiropractic care?
That is a little bit longer story, so we'll take a little bit of time to unpack that. I grew up in Tennessee, and I'm the youngest of five, and I started to, at a very young age, just get dragged to a bunch of softball parks, baseball parks, football parks. Really fell in love with sports. Long story short, ended up getting to play football at the Virginia Military Institute. And after school up there, I decided to move to Knoxville, Tennessee. This is where I have to obligatorily say "Go Vols." Sorry about the Red Raiders. We can all say this though, right?
Well,
I don't know.
The problem with this is that Eden and I don't know anything.
So we are just
Good.
looking at you.
All right.
We have no clue what you're
Go
talking
Vols.
about.
Tennessee. Anyways,
Great.
we are. I decided to go to Tennessee and work for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which is a nationwide sports ministry. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pull with the FCA world here in Lubbock too. And what I was really responsible for was getting out and discipling young men in high school, responsible for doing some chaplain stuff for the University of Tennessee, which are the Volunteers. That's why I say Go Vols. And then after that, after about a year of working there, this would be the summer of 2018, I had a panic attack. And I don't know if you guys have ever had any type of mental struggles in your life, but I decided that I wanted to fight it naturally as opposed to just going to the medical doctor who was just prescribing me Advil, really strong Advil at the time. And it just didn't help at all. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to beat this naturally. Up until that point, though, I was starting to be really anxious. I was really depressed, depersonalized. So it was like I was watching my world in a third person game or something like that. Like I was watching a movie of my own life. My memories didn't feel like my own memories. My life didn't feel like my own life. My friends and family didn't feel like they were my family. Even when I tried to write my birthday, I would say, is that my birthday? Let me think. And I had to pull my license out and think and look, yeah, that's my birthday. So I was really disoriented. And so I started to really look into see what is health, how can I attain it, and then how can I maintain it through the rest of my life so that I don't have these extremely big shifts in my health, which is pretty much what everybody's asking in the world today, especially after the pandemic that happened. But what I decided was I'm going to try to do this naturally. And I started working out. I started eating better. I started working on some mental health, started seeing a counselor. And through my working out, I threw my back out. And thankfully, I knew a chiropractor in Knoxville who I went to, and they blessed me with care. And he started to talk to me over time about health. And so all the questions that I had been having up until this point, what is health? How can I gain it? How can I maintain it? Then how can I reproduce it in the life of others, which was his role. So over that time, I started to really decide, do I want to stay in ministry where I just need some time to relax, some time to recuperate? Because you've probably heard the phrase kind of just pouring from an empty cup. That was kind of what my life was like. And so I decided to step away from FCA. And that was at the beginning of 2019. And then for about 3 months, I just shadowed that chiropractor. And I would walk in and I would do pretty much whatever they told me to. I would take out the trash. I would clean the toilets. I would sit at the front desk and answer phone calls. And I wasn't getting paid. And there was just a random person sitting at the front desk when the patients came in. But I started to hear these stories of people who were alongside with other health things and healthcare providers. They were in remission from cancer, and they were able to live their lives in a functional capacity that they hadn't been in 20, 30 years. They were able to get out of these things of anxiety, depression, all that stuff. And I started to become one of those stories. And so for about a year and a half, I struggled with that. But it took me about, like I said, about a year and a half to get over the mental illness, for the depression to fade away, for the anxiety to fade away. But it faded away. And now I get to help people who are in that same journey of health. And so that's one of the privileges that I get to see every day, is people who come in and who are at their last leg, who have no hope left. And then after a series of appointments, after a series of time, and just sitting with them, talking with them, and caring for their body, they get better. Just because that's what the body is supposed to do. If you have a cut on your finger, you don't have to think to yourself, heal finger, your finger just heals, because that's what we're designed to do. And so when we help people take these stressors out of their life, their bodies just start to heal. But on a business side of that, after school, I went to school in Atlanta, Georgia, at Life University. It's about a 3.5-year program. At the end of that, I went back to Knoxville, because I thought that was kind of my home base. That was where I thought I felt most comfortable. And I did, still do probably. But I tried to start my own business. And we can talk about that in a little bit. But long story short, I just didn't have all the tools in my basket. And I failed pretty much, or I was failing. I think over time I would have continued to get better and better and better. But at the same time, as I'm trying to learn this really specific technique that we practice at the Blair Clinic here in Lubbock, it's hard to run a business, start getting a book of clients, and then all the financial things that go along with it that they don't really teach you in school as you're trying to learn how to take care of people.
That's a surprise. Yeah. Later on that you get to find out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. And then I talked to the clinic director here, because he's been doing the technique we practice for 25, 30 years. He knows it, he understands it, and he could watch me. And being a quarterback that played at a decently high level, I understand the value of being able to have someone teach me, have someone watch me, and then make sure that I'm doing the right things over and over and over. So my patient experience, the care that I can provide to people has just skyrocketed in my time moving here. So I moved here in February, and it's been awesome. I've met a lot of great people. I've been blessed to be able to take care of some amazing patients. And I met my wife about a week into moving here. No,
Wow.
Probably about 2 weeks, 3 weeks into moving here. And we got married at the end of last year. So
That's
we didn't waste any
awesome.
time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You
That's
should.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So
so cool.
a lot of change in the last year, but it's been awesome.
Yeah. That's a really good story. And I'm getting a couple of things from that. First thing is, chiropractic care is about so much more than just like cracking your bones and calling
Yeah.
it a day and moving on.
Yeah. Or your scalp.
For your scalp. Apparently you can crack your scalp according to TikTok. And also that it was not in the plan for you, right? So did you see yourself staying in ministry like before? You thought
yeah.
that you were going to do that for your whole life?
Yeah. I thought that would be what I did for the rest of my life.
Where did that start? When did you think you were going to do that for your whole life?
Probably when I was about halfway through college.
Okay.
I came to Christ, or Christ saved me when I was 17. So 2012, March 2012, coming up on, 12 years? 12 and 12, 24. So I started following Christ, and being a kind of a role model on the football team in my small town, everybody just shuttled me places to speak. since, it's kind of what we see in the culture now too, with Christian celebrities who or celebrities who become Christians. They're just like, let's just go put them on a speaking tour kind of thing. So I started to preach and speak and talk to people about who Christ was and what he's done in my life. And I just started loving it. Started to serve at FCA camps in the summer and fell in love with it even more. And then after school, I thought, this is an eternal reward, and I get to care for people in that way. But yeah, I loved it, and it was the most heartbreaking thing to kind of let it go. But also, I started to realize that every aspect of your life is ministry. The Bible talks about the priesthood of the saints, and I think it's a good thing to start normalizing that a little bit more, because everybody is a priest in their own way, in the business that you're in, the story that you share, the people that you impact. That's a ministry. And I think that was one of the things that I kind of had to be humbled to. But now I get to lay hands on people every day. So I think I'm making it's hard to compare impacts, but I think I'm still making a good impact.
I mean, helping people with their holistic health is a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I should have educated myself a little bit more on you before you
totally
walked
fine.
in here, because now I'm like, wow.
Now you have good questions.
Well,
yeah,
actually,
now you have really
we do
true
have
good questions.
this picture.
Oh,
of
yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah, that was my military cut, clean shave. Yeah.
That's the same guy.
Same
Can you
guy.
believe
Same
it?
hair.
Same guy. Yeah, decently same hair.
Yeah.
That's good. It's been
Speaking of
probably 7 years
college
since I
football.
took that picture. Yeah.
Speaking of college football that we know nothing about and teams we know nothing about, I think something Texas is here. We don't know.
Yeah.
Something Texas.
Okay, you were saying along the lines of healing people and helping people who, not healing people. Well, no, you did say that, but helping people come in and find hope again. That part got me. You do more than, hey, Eden, Shelton, your ribs out. Let me help you fix that.
Yeah.
Right? I've been miserable for a while. My chiropractor does a good job, pushes it back in. It stays,
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
being, it doesn't stay where it's supposed to. I'm not at my wit's end. Tell me about, with what you can speak to. That gets dicey with client confidentiality and stuff. But these people who are coming to you that have no hope, what do you change do you talk to them about their eating habits and their exercise, and do you get into personal stuff? Like, I am very curious to know about.
Really, it's patient led when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I have general guidelines that I want to give my patients. So we practice a technique called the Blair upper cervical technique. And it's interesting because Dr. William Blair, he practiced here in Lubbock. He started the clinic in 1949. And he passed away in the 80s. Then somebody else took it over, and it's just kind of, we're on our third clinic director now, Dr. Elder. We're really specialists in the upper neck. And so the upper neck is really complicated. There's so much movement in the upper neck. There is the way that the fluid goes in and out of the brain, the way that the muscles impact the jaw, the ears, the neurology of the area. And it sits just right below the brainstem, so it can play with facial nerves and hearing nerves, those kind of things, really weirdly.
I'm feeling weird about how I'm holding my neck now.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that?
When I start telling people that, they're like, yeah, so.
Sitting up straight. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, as we help people who are experiencing, and not everybody has a problem in their upper neck. Maybe they have something else that a physical therapist or another doctor or ND can help them with. But when we see that in patients, we see that over time they get better, but also as you implement ways and strategies to help them heal as well. So what we do, I typically tell patients, look, you just want to care for your body, nurture your body. And in doing so, it'll nurture your mind. So it can also end up just being, let's eat whole foods. Let's just drink water. And one of the big things that I'm a stickler about is it doesn't have to be so complex. Let's just make health simple. And if you're just drinking water, you're sleeping, you're eating good food, and you're moving, those things are going to help you get better over 30 days, 6 months, 1 year. Then as you compound them, then having a 10-step ritual when you wake up that's going to include an ice bath and a 10-mile run and a workout and then morning meditation and then like a weird coffee thing, you know. There's a lot of things that can be said about it, but typically our main role in the clinic is to help people with that functional thing that's going on in the upper part of their neck, and that's going to help a lot of people. But then as you implement those things, and in chiropractic we call those kind of the 3 T's, the 3 T's. So it's traumas, thoughts, and toxins. So traumas being micro traumas, walking, exercising, which are good things, or traumas like car accidents, the big traumas, the macro traumas. And then the other thing, traumas, thoughts, the stressors in our life, the way that our mental health side of it can deplete your health. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a season of complete stress and then you're the sickest you've ever been. You can't think straight, can't sleep, and it's just kind of this this never-ending cycle. And then toxins, so the food we eat in Lubbock, the air we breathe, the things that we put into our bodies, food, water, alcohol, sodas, stuff like that. So it's kind of this holistic approach, but I want to also keep it accessible and simple for people so that, one, they don't need me so much over a longer period of time, because our goal is to not see you that much, kind of like a dentist. And we typically just want to have people be able to reproduce it in their life. And that's kind of the simple steps I did. I did some blood tests along the way to help me out, and I've taken some supplements, but typically I just kind of live my life and try to eat as healthy as I can, move as much as I can, drink as much water as I can. End up drinking a whole lot more coffee than water most days, but yeah.
There's water.
You gotta.
Yeah, you got
It's made with water.
Yeah.
Yeah, coffee is water.
Yeah.
You heard
Bean
it
water.
here first, folks.
Bean water.
Get that bean water.
Made me go fast. Okay.
I don't understand your chiropractic care.
You don't.
Yeah, it's complex. It's different.
Yeah, you didn't warn me about that.
It's a different approach for sure.
It's about so much more than just popping your rib back into place.
Right. And so I'm just at this point like, what in the world is going on? Because my experience is very different than what you do and offer.
Yeah.
And I have a great relationship with my chiropractor, and he does good work. He works on all my kids. He was able to turn my baby back facing down. And but it's not what you do. So how do you do both? I'm just so interested in this. Like
So the interesting thing with
that experience.
Chiropractic, within the world of chiropractic, there are like 100 to 200 different techniques. That we can all choose from, practice, learn. Typically there's 4 or 5 that are taught in school, and then the rest you kind of just go out on the weekends and pay a bunch of money and have somebody teach it to you. And that's what I did to learn what I do. And it's good because it provides a bunch of different opportunities for patients. So we'll have people come in and we think to ourselves, maybe you're not the best fit for our clinic because of what you have going on. So we'll send them out to another chiropractor or a physical therapist who's doing something in town that we prefer. And I think that's the cool thing about it. But yeah, I think it's, for what we do, there is, gosh, it's hard to explain to you. Look, you got me.
No, I think I'm going to have to come in one day and be like, okay, show me.
There you go.
Show me what you're doing, because it's not registering for me.
Yeah.
And I'm very intrigued. What?
Most chiropractors have the same goals as well. So and they'll have the same approach just to help people get out of pain and help their body start healing in the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. So you're saying that it's all in the neck.
Not all the time it's not in the neck.
But a lot of the time,
a lot of time it could be in the neck.
Me sitting in between you guys is going to make me need some.
Yeah, sure. Your head is on a swivel.
Every time we film something, I'm like...
So can you diagnose someone when they walk in? Like if you see them standing and you're like, oh, I know exactly what part of your body is thrown off.
Oh, yeah. Just get my little wand out and I'm just like, let's see. There.
Well, do you watch them walk? Like what
So
do
what
you
we
do?
do is we have people go through a series of tests in our clinic. We'll do some posture tests. We'll do some weight balance tests depending on what's going on really. And then we'll have you lay down and move your head several different ways. I'll press around on your neck. We'll do some temperature readings on either side of the neck too. So
what does that mean?
Yeah, well, it can tell us if there's inflammation in the muscles. It can tell us if there's postural or if there's nervous system problems as well.
Wow.
But it's just a bunch of different. What's that? Because you're nervous?
Tells you if they're nervous.
Yeah, tells you if you're nervous. The nervous.
He did not laugh at that joke at all, and I'm like laughing.
I'm not paying. I'm trying to work while I'm also trying to
Okay, are we passing the posture test?
Say that again.
Are we passing the posture test?
Yeah, it looks great.
I'm not. Don't believe it.
Okay, I want to rewind in your story to when you said you tried to start your own business and failed. I want to know that story and what happened.
Well, he got it before it failed.
Yeah.
So he was failing.
Okay.
I was failing, yeah.
In your words. So sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think you failed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think people, when we're going through chiropractic school, they don't, like I said, they don't tell us the ways to start a business, the things you have to do, the things you need to do. And I loved it. I did. And I loved being my own boss. I loved taking care of people the way I wanted to, the way I thought was best.
So did you start your own practice and like open a building and everything?
Not a building. I was renting a room in another building. It was actually another chiropractor's office that I did an internship with. He was really gracious to me. They're awesome. But yeah, I decided to just start an office in a little room. So I just rented it out there. But yeah, so then started to just do some marketing, get to know some people in the community, and over time it grew a little bit, and it started to grow more and more. But I think the biggest thing, like I said, I would have been fine. I would have started to make some money. I would have started to make a bigger impact. I would have moved into a building. I would have continued to grow and do those things. But I think for me, I started to realize the benefit of being with somebody, being part of a team. I've always been part of a team. And so I started to realize the value of a team. So imagine if you were just doing your thing completely alone, separate from the wonderful people at Creative, You're like, you would think, man, I wish I had somebody to do this with.
Well, I would not be okay.
Right. Yeah. So that was kind of mine. That was kind of my experience. I decided to kind of close the doors and take a big leap and move thousands of miles away. Yeah. And then it's been great because I do get the one-on-one training. I get tons of experience. I get to not care as much of the running the business side. I get to see behind the scenes, and I get to prepare myself for maybe one day when I either take it over or start my own at some point. But also kind of what we were talking about offline before we started, there's this, in a sense, that I am my own business too. Every care provider will be, because if you can give a good name or a bad name to that business, in my opinion, you have a massive role in it. So if I started just hurting people in the clinic or putting out false information, that's going to really impact the business.
Start just hurting people.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, please don't. And so that's going to really hurt the business. So also the other side of that is I do a ton of marketing. I do a lot of Instagram videos to kind of give information to the community and just trying to provide value where I can. So it's been fun to I was reflecting on it this weekend, and in reality, I am kind of running my own business outside of paying the bills of the building, paying the staff, or paying myself. I'm really running my own side of the business and trying to gain traction and help people understand why our services might be beneficial.
Yeah. So I heard you say that maybe owning a business is in your future. Is that something that you want to do?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I really do.
What do you think you would do differently this time than what you did the first time?
I would hire some more people on the front end to make sure that all of the the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. That would be the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would take some time beforehand to really start to get out in the community and get my name out and let people know what I'm going to be doing instead of what I'm doing right now. Because then the whole front end of that could be solely, this is what I'm going to be doing in 3-6 months, you know?
Mm.
So I think that would be one of the first things I would do. But I think a lot of times, so the interesting thing with chiropractic too, from a business standpoint, is you could go into a franchise. Like a good example here would be the Joint. Have you ever driven by the Joint? I think there's 2 locations here. They're a full franchise. So they have people just sign up under them. You can own the place, or you can just show up and they'll pay you $30, $100, whatever their hourly rate is. I have no idea. And you can also just start your own private business. So you could do an LLC or a PLLC, whatever you want to do, and have your own business. You can do traveling chiropractic. You can go see sports athletes. You can go see. You can help at football complexes, stuff like that. We all talked offline too. You could do animal chiropractic for horses or dogs.
That's so weird to
Probably
me.
not fish, but
Probably not fish.
unfortunately. So
They have bones, right?
yeah, they're more cartilage though.
Do you learn that in chiropractic school?
Mm-hmm. Well, not fish. I just kind of knew that. I've eaten enough fish to know that.
Oh. I guess
Oh,
maybe I'm just out
there
of the
it
loop.
is. Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
Okay, then. I'm not alone. But usually
Yeah.
we both don't know most things. So
Oh wow.
I didn't know the fish had bones.
no, I was saying
They
fish
have bones, yeah.
bones.
They have bones, but
He
they're
said
technically
they're
more
mostly
cartilage.
cartilage. I didn't know that.
So they move around more, like really
They're-
squiggly, like squiggly.
Why did we both?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They did the
Dang
same
it.
thing.
We both started doing this at the
Both
same
started
time.
wiggling like.
You have to record those and put them together.
Well,
and
we
then-
just do the same thing all the time, and we're noticing it, and
Nice.
we just did it
Spend
again.
enough time together.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, but
Dang it.
yeah, I think in the future I would love to probably have my own place and whatever that looks like. But it would probably be small scale, probably just me and maybe somebody working at the front desk.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. We can help you with that whenever you're ready.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
I kind of want to back up. You talked about the people who came in, who come in, who just are at the wit's end,
Yeah.
they have no hope left in their tank. There's several stories in our clinic that I love to share, and I'll just share one. But first, I'll share my story. When I started to go to that chiropractor, I would literally lay down on the table, and they had worship music blasting, and it was dark, so it was, or dark-ish. It was kind of dim lit, so nobody really cared. But I would just cry, I would just lay there weeping because you're usually laying on your stomach, so nobody could see your face. So I was just crying the whole time.
For what reason? Were you in pain in more ways? So obviously more ways
Yeah.
than one.
Yeah.
So you were going there to get relief, but you were finding something else when
Yeah.
you were getting.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Found people who cared. You found people who wanted to listen to you. And you found people who had solutions that are different than what you typically hear. And over time, I found the healing that I was looking for. And I think one of the cool things at chiropractic is, or most chiropractors, a good chiropractor will give you tools to kind of help as you're going through it. So we usher people along their health journey. We're kind of just tour guides. We don't just say, this is what you're going to do. You come to me for it. I got your back. I'm going to do it. We let you in on the journey so that you can start your own health journey. And then that's how you get higher and higher and higher results, because you're actually investing and caring in your own health. And those are the best doctors, the people who don't have you rely on them always. Of course, there's some things like ribs can be tricky for sure. But also, there are other things that we can help people with. So we're a lot of times people refer to themselves as chiropractors that are kind of tour guides along the health journey. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun to kind of experience that side of it as a patient, but also as a practitioner now too. So I'll share one story. There was a middle-aged, she's younger. She was in her 30s. She came in and she was physically abused by one of her exes to the point where she had to have surgery on her neck. So broke her neck in a sense. She was that abusive and just extreme pain and was just literally, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea. And so she had those fusions of her cervical spine down at the bottom. Luckily for us, what we do is so gentle. We just kind of don't adjust that area and everything else is fine. But what we did was we adjusted her and we kind of monitored her over time. And so she started with us last May, I believe. And this winter, she went skiing for the first time in her life, and she's completely out of pain. She'll have some days, but on the whole, she's completely out of pain. So she's actually experiencing her life again. And that's the best. It's the best to see people do that.
Yeah.
And I've seen people walk in with canes and they'll walk out with them over their shoulders, that type of stuff. So it's fun to see that. But
That is so cool.
yeah.
That's the kind of thing that'll give you chills.
Yeah.
I love watching those.
Yeah.
Also videos on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they can barely walk and they're adjusted. And one, it's painful because they have whatever condition or accident that put them in that posture.
Yeah.
And then to see them walk out after a few months, completely smile on their face, no more pain. That's neat.
Oh yeah.
How awful to be in that much pain.
No doubt.
Sorry. You have to say something.
So obviously you're really passionate about what you do. I mean, because of your own story and because of your patient's story, and you kind of help run the whole clinic. And I know that like the business stuff can get kind of difficult and monotonous, and like even though you're really passionate, have you ever wanted to give up?
Oh yeah, a lot of times. I always think to myself, man, it'd be much better. It'd be much easier just working at like Home Depot, or nothing against Home Depot, or just like having a job where maybe the emotional baggage just isn't so much, or maybe, working for a corporation where you just kind of show up. You don't have to generate a bunch of stuff or generate momentum or anything. We just show up to a desk job, I've definitely had those thoughts before, but I'm always reminded of the chiropractor that I had. And if he wouldn't have been there, maybe somebody else would have stepped in, but maybe I'd still be struggling with that. That was what, 6 years ago that I started to experience those things. And 6 years of that, I don't know if I'd even be here, because it was so intense and so frustrating and so dark. But yeah, it's definitely easy to think I could do something else, or I could do blank, or maybe I should just quit. And that's probably more along the lines of a lie in a lot of times. But yeah, thankfully I have people in my life that are always pushing me on, who are always hearing my concerns and my thoughts and tell me where truth is, tell me what the truth is, tell me what the lie is, which is always good. My wife does a great job of that.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
no doubt.
Yeah. I'm glad that you like stay focused on your story.
Yeah, because it matters,
Shameless plug.
Your story matters.
Your story matters. No, but really, like, you are obviously someone who is focused on why you're passionate about what you're doing. I mean, that's going to help you not give up and keep moving forward. And so let's say I was someone, I've said this many times before, I don't ever want to own a business, but let's say I was someone who did, and I'm feeling like giving up. What would you say?
I think you got to go back to your why. So why are you doing this? Why did you get into it? What have you been created for? What have you been created to do? And I think as you answer that why, and you go back to that why, which is so important. So I formulated my why over the several years that people have kind of told me to. And for the most part, it's just to help people create healing in their lives. mentally, physically, and emotionally, and to see them fulfill their lives in the kingdom of God. When I remind myself of that, that's where I can help myself get over that hurdle and wake up when I don't want to, and study the things I need to when I don't really want to. And then also be in community. Have people who are in your life who will say, yeah, that's probably not a great idea for you to do blank, or maybe you should consider doing this or that. And sometimes maybe it does look like a shift, but it doesn't always have to be. But yeah, for those people who are struggling with the decision, who want to give up, go back to your why and just re-clarify why you're doing it. And that'll help. That'll always help.
I like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
What's your most controversial opinion?
Controversial opinion.
No, controversial truth.
Truth?
What is your truth?
Yeah. My controversial truth is that I don't believe that that's a great phrase or accurate phrase. Truth is truth.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's see. Controversial truth for me. More red meat is good for you.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Eat as much red meat as you possibly can.
What if I don't like it?
Doing that. Yes.
What is that?
Second
What if I don't like it?
You make yourself like it. No, I'm just kidding. Really high protein diets. Not really high. High protein diets with, good fibers, good fruits and vegetables are extremely good for you.
Okay. Well, then why does everyone say that red meat is bad?
Because
Years
they want to
ago-
tell you that.
Yeah, years and years ago, there were studies they started to show that it was the cause of cardiovascular disease, stroke, stomach cancer, GI cancer, stuff like that. But as people have done more and more research, they saw the flaws in those studies and then saw the money trails that led to those studies. So I don't know. I think if God made it, that's what I want to eat. If a man made it, that's probably not what I'm going to eat.
Okay. My husband's going to be so excited when I tell him that.
Look, I got
to
you
eat
some
more
red
steak.
meat today. Yeah, it's the best.
Have you heard this before, and what's your response to it? That sitting is the new smoking.
Yeah, I have heard that actually. I think that it's pretty true that a sedentary lifestyle will lead to those negative health outcomes. And the more we're sitting, you're not just getting less cardio or less challenge to your heart, brain, lungs, but also you are creating postures that are going to tighten muscles, that are going to keep you sedentary as well. They're going to start actually, if you do it long and long and long, I see so many people, because we're neck specialists, they're sitting at a computer like this all the time, or they're looking at their phone like this all the time.
Phones and the
Like that just
tablets
now.
and stuff. Yeah.
And then they'll have just a bunch of degeneration, which is just bone kind of spurring off of the bones, because the goal of the body.
Did we just do the same thing again?
Probably. So the body is so brilliant, it's so intelligent that it will always adapt in the best way that it possibly can. So if you're always sitting like this, your body is going to add bone to the front of those structures, kind of like you would put cement or like another post on the front of a post that's fallen over, or a tree that's fallen over, just to give it support.
Oh,
Yeah. So the body also,
want
here's
extra
another
bone.
good controversial thing. The body, from my perspective, the body never makes a mistake. It always is just doing its best to adapt.
wow.
Yeah. So like if you get a fever, you get a fever because there's a reason you need to have a fever. And that reason is to increase the body temperature so that it can destroy any bacteria that are threatening it. And so I just let my fevers go usually, unless they're like extremely bad. Yeah. It's like 103, 104. That's when I kind of start getting a little questionable.
When you get to
107,
103?
110. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
hallucinate when I get really high fevers.
Oh, yeah. Those fever dreams. You ever heard that term?
Mm-hmm.
Fever dreams. It's weird.
Huh.
Yeah.
What is the most rewarding part of this journey for you?
I would say the most rewarding part of the journey for me is to see people who were in the exact same state that I was and actually have answers for them, as opposed to just say, man, I'm sorry that you're going through that, you know, which not everybody wants answers all the time. And sometimes I got to stop myself, but I get to actually help people who are experiencing some things. And maybe it's not from me. Maybe I send them somebody else's contact information, or send them to another place in town, or I get to connect them with somebody in their own town that can help them in better ways than I can. So I think walking with people along their health journey as they try to experience and express more life, that's the most rewarding part of this journey.
Through this, running the same circles as Ben Edwards?
Yeah, actually we do a lot with Ben. I'm working with Ben Hunt, who is their movement director. Yeah, so we're putting together a talk with Ben Hunt and Veritas, and also the person who does a lot of their pediatrician stuff, Cassidy Luna, so we can provide awareness for concussions and concussion rehab. And so we're going to be able to provide a resource for Veritas, for the people of Lubbock with Veritas, to be able to help people who are struggling and don't have those answers after they've had a car accident or fallen and slipped, or have a kid who plays sports and just don't know what to do to help with a concussion or to prevent one.
I got a concussion my junior year of high school, and have had stomach issues ever since.
Interesting.
There's it might just be coincidence. Like I'm also growing up. But
I don't think it's a coincidence. So within about 3 or 4 hours of a head impact, a mild traumatic brain injury, the nerve information to the brain completely shuts down from the stomach. So back and forth. So it just kind of just like, don't care about you. And so then the microbiome changes. And so that's why we see things like constipation or gut inflammation, whatever it is. A lot of times that is, especially if it happened around that same time or pretty much right after you started to experience it. Yeah, I had somebody, they came in, they had a concussion, and several months after it, they went to their medical doctor, which this is just their standard protocol. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They said, my stomach is just awful right now. And they continued to do tests, and eventually they just took the gallbladder out because they just didn't have the answers, you know? Or they just didn't know. And maybe the damage was already there. You know, maybe it was reversible. I don't think they had any malpractice involvement, but it just makes you wonder, like, what if they would have gotten their concussion cared for, and maybe their stomach stuff went away.
That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, the body is just extremely weird.
Take out a whole body part because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Gallbladder surgeries are the #1 surgery in the United States usually.
Okay, that's my new life goal.
Don't have a gallbladder surgery.
To keep my gallbladder
you
for
heard
my
it
whole
here
life.
first. Your gallbladder matters. Stay focused.
Get a second one.
In.
Okay, do you have any funny stories?
Funny stories?
Yeah.
Like
asking about your flatulence rate per.
Oh yeah.
Does that happen a lot?
I've never actually had that happen to me. I've had people happen. I've watched people adjust, like their family or something, and it's happened to them, and I think that is the funniest thing. But
what would you do if it happened to you?
I've often wondered.
Yeah, I would panic.
Yeah.
I would not know what to do.
If you were the patient?
Both.
And then just like...
Yeah.
Just start seizing.
Seizing.
Sneezing.
Oh, sneezing.
Cover it up. Guess that would work too.
Let's see. I don't think I have any funny...
Nothing funny has ever happened?
I don't know. I've taken care of babies before. This was when I lived in Knoxville, and I had adjusted a baby that had been a little constipated. And typically, you know, when that happens, they pretty much like they call it like the poop button. Like you adjust them, and you adjust like the poop button. And the mom comes back from the bathroom, and she says, "I'm gonna start giving this thing to Dr. Al afterwards. He's gonna have to change the diapers when he does that."
You caused this.
And I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, what is with that?
Well, one, there could be some mechanical problems, meaning that the bones being not in the proper position can cause that local inflammation, and then cause the stomach to cause the intestines to not really evacuate like that.
Yeah.
But it could also be a stress thing too. If the baby's continually stressed, then that's when you see things like colic and the constipation. And so as you adjust the baby, you'll see that the nervous system starts to be able to adapt a little bit more to stress, and they can kind of relax. And so anytime you relax like that, especially if you're constipated, the whole body will relax, especially with a baby. And then poop button.
Yeah.
So good.
Scotland had to have that sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And she had to have an additional natural drops to also help get things going. But he just thought that, her body just wasn't fully formed yet, not fully ready. So that was interesting. She's really good at going to the bathroom now, though.
Nice.
She got it all figured out.
There you go.
Ew.
You.
Gross.
So, what is something that you will never compromise on in business?
Integrity. I hate when, and I've made some mistakes when it comes to accidentally billing the wrong amount or whatever it is, or I don't want to compromise integrity for a paycheck or anything like that. And I also don't want to compromise my soul. I think we can lose our business, lose our soul in the business. So I try to always just keep going back to the square one and say, my heart is service. So I'm just going to go out and try to serve as many people as I can, as many people that will listen, as many people that want to kind of start on this health journey. I just really want to serve. So providing value and serving instead of seeing patients as check mark or as money signs. It's really easy when you're having a slow month, or when you're not making as much, or you're trying to get ends to meet, that you'll wiggle around some of those gray areas, and you'll think, I could just do this instead and I get a little bit more money out of it, but that's always the wrong decision, especially when you're caring for people's lives and their well-being, and at a vulnerable spot too. I never want to manipulate people into chiropractic care, or manipulate their emotions to be able to start chiropractic care with me. That's one of those things in the chiropractic world that we've gotten a really bad rap on from the community, because maybe care plans are just exorbitantly expensive, or maybe they're exorbitantly long. And maybe I don't need an adjustment every day for 3 years, It's like, why are you charging me that much? I don't need that. And so we always want to be upfront with patients and say, this is where we think we can help you. And I never want to exaggerate our claims. I want to stay as true to the science that we see, as true to the patient and their clinical findings that I find, just so we don't ever get in that gray area of the patient losing trust in us or the care we provide or the profession as a whole.
I like that.
Yeah.
Then I think it's time for you to give your pitch into that lovely camera over there. Who are you? What's your practice? How do people find you?
How do people find you? Yeah, that's a big one.
So my name is Al Cobb. I'm a chiropractor. I'm an upper cervical chiropractor. Not that cervical, the upper neck. For you ladies out there, don't get any weird questions. But we help people who are experiencing neck pain, headaches, migraines, nerve pain to the face, something like trigeminal neuralgia, dizziness, vertigo, which are also can be classified as Meniere's disease. We help people who are experiencing concussions as well. So if you've had a concussion, recently, or if you had one years ago and you're still experiencing those effects of brain fog or neck pain or headaches or irritability, hormone problems, it's always a good opportunity to reach out to us and just see what we can provide. And if you mention that you heard us on the podcast, we'll help you out a little bit. You can email me directly at drcobb, both as in boy, at Blair Clinic, BLAIR clinic.com. You can find me on social media at dr.al.cobb. And I look forward to connecting with you. If I can help you in any way, I would love to. Let's see. Yeah, our clinic is located in Southeast Lubbock at East 50th and MLK. So come by, see us. We usually start with a screening. So it's a 30-minute appointment. We do those tests that I talked about. And then we pretty much determine, do you have something we can help with? If you do, great, we can get you started. We typically take 3D x-rays. So it's pretty much like spinning a skeleton around on my screen, but really just from the shoulders up. And then we can actually see where you need to be adjusted, how, and in what vectors. So it makes things a lot easier in the long run if we get those x-rays. But if you don't have something we can help with, we don't feel like you're a good fit for what we provide, we're not going to waste your time or your money, and we'll send you somewhere else or get you the care that you need. So yeah, you can reach out to me at those places, and look forward to serving you.
That's
and thank
awesome.
you guys for having me on.
Thank you for being here.
It was
You
really
have a lot
nice
of
meeting
good
you.
things to say.
Yeah, I think it's been really fun.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Stay Focused podcast. You can find us on YouTube or anywhere where you listen to podcasts. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at stayfocused.creative, and remember that your story matters, so stay focused.